It's an all new bullet points. Holy cow. It's going to be the fastest some odd minutes on the internet. We got 4 big topics. We got a wild card. Judd Dunning in Los Angeles. What's bullet point number 1?
Bullet point number 1, I want you to notice that I'm not wearing a mask like a lot of the television reporters are. So this is a mask-free zone. Bullet point number 1, thank you. Opening the government in 3 phase plans by the big Trump.
I love it. Bullet point number 2.
The stats on the coronavirus and maybe the greater agenda.
What? Bullet point number 3.
Heartbroken Barack Hussein Obama to the rescue. Can Biden grab that life preserver?
Grab it, Joe. Bullet point number 4.
This is a long one. The Federalist Dilemma, selfish Michigan protests, Maryland, Texas, and California planning to open next week.
Notice whenever you say the words the Federalist, I'm compelled to stare off in the distance like a hero.
I'm going to carve you into the side of my mountain.
Now, will there be a wild card?
There will be a wild card.
That sounds like a show. Roll the credits. Damn it. All right, we're in, we're back, we're locked and loaded, we're thriving in the time of pandemic. I'm in my apartment in New York, you're in the studio in LA. Let's just crank one out.
Yeah, crank one out. But hold the presses. Who's this right here taking over the...
Oh, I was almost wearing the exact same thing. I almost...
You should shower and change on occasion.
I really should. It was a lot of fun. They came to me with the idea a couple weeks ago. I thought about it. I said, yes, I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy who's like, when people were down and out and they needed entertainment, did I step up? Did me and my pals step up and bring the comedic heat? Yes, we did. It came out really well. And so far, so good. The reviews have been fantastic.
Nice. And so how did you get Larry the Cable Guy? That was, it was great. You were great. I'm going to give you number 1. Larry the Cable Guy brought it home. He was really funny, man. It was really funny. How did you reach out to him?
It's a friend of a friend. And Larry the Cable Guy, he's ready to bring it. No, it killed me the way he did his phone. He had his phone up. He's talking to his phone. And then after the punchline, he'd go, and just like,
there's no sound. He's like, there's no applause. There's no applause.
There's a reason that he's a very, very, very successful comedian, and there's a reason for that. My man is good at what he does. And who doesn't love Toe Mater? He's Toe Mater.
But buddy, I just have to say, we'll cut to this later, but the impeachment movie with your like 7 voices, that was gold. You know, I watched SNL. A lot of these shows aren't working, man. It worked. That was a great show. They should do it every Friday night.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. I'll tell everybody about it on Bullet Points. Yes, America
pooped themselves. That's how funny it was. All right, moving into bullet point number 1. All right, great. So the Opening Up America plan, Michael, is being introduced, as we both know. I mean, a couple things we want to mention about what are the 3 plans. I mean, he's starting by distancing, right? And then slowly, we're not going to open up the movie theaters. And then the governors have to jump on board. Man, I think this is great. Everybody who's looking at the stats, I'm so tired of being lied to with the stats medically and everybody's political agenda. And you say?
I'm right there with you. I'm tired of the politics. And this is like, Trump made a really good move the other day. He's like, no, it's my decision. I'm in charge. And everybody's like, whoa, no, you're not. And it was beautiful. They all went, the governors are in charge. So now he can be like, okay, it's up to the governors. You said it first. It was beautiful. And it should be up to the governors. And if your governor is a moron, like that crazy lady in Michigan, well then, sorry that you're jealous of the people in Florida, because Florida's doing it right. Georgia's coming along. Texas is doing it right. Listen, people can be cool. People can keep social distance. People can wear masks. You can go out. Some people should be working again. Enough already.
Yeah, and look, I think it was great at the very beginning what Trump said. Like, he was playing on that multi-level chessboard a little bit. All of American society is engaged in mobilizing a war against the invisible enemy. While we must remain vigilant, it's clear that our aggressive strategy is working. I'm getting so sick of people telling me that somebody else could have done this better. I mean, once again, like his 278 achievements, we did our book in December. I mean, he continues to bring it down. He's done a great job. What else could you have done better? That's what I want to keep flipping back to people. Show me a different alternative reality with a different candidate doing something better. I don't know what it would be.
Right? If people think that Hillary Clinton would have magically, mystically just made 360 million coronavirus tests appear out of thin air if it was her being president, good luck, good riddance. I'm so glad she's not steering the ship, because we'd be like hung up on a Chinese iceberg right now.
Chinese iceberg, a bacterially covered. That's another way. No, I'm kidding. So, it's interesting. If you look at the map, right? I mean, this is what he's dealing with. I mean, I think the thing we've got definitely going on is a lot of political posturing. There's a lot of guys who want to be the next president. And so New York is the perfect place for Cuomo to be grandstanding. He's actually been really nice to Gavin Newsom, which is where we are in California. He's like, oh, he's a nice guy. He's doing all right. But now the question is, who's going to grandstand against the federal government in order to get the political spotlight on him? You know how much that could cost us? Everybody's career is at risk, I think.
It will be very interesting to see how this plays out. However, it needs to play out fast. It needs to play out fast. Small businesses aren't making it through. They're not going to make it through this. A lot of small businesses, I'm afraid, are going to go away. And Nancy Pelosi, again, is playing political football with this thing and slowing down the passage of that new stimulus package. They need the money. She has no clue. That old lady, she's out of touch. She's out of touch. She's just eating ice cream.
That was one of our best. So look, man, I think it's great. America, look, we had this, the one thing that they definitely succeeded in is the MAGA rallies were shut down. And if you look at how Trump actually beat Hillary, I mean, it's almost proven the way he mobilized the base in immigration, right? So we can't do those MAGA rallies anymore. But people identify with the president in a war. This has been a war, and it's been a war on our individual freedoms, man. And I'm getting really sick of people calling me up and telling me to lay down and lay off my freedoms when that's our whole American way of life. And I think we're coming to a boiling point that is safe to proceed. And I think he's proceeding as aggressively as possible.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Just gently open up the floodgates, let everybody go back in. We're all going to have to get this. 80% of America has got to get this, or we'll be in fear for the rest of our lives until there's a vaccine. And I'm not looking forward to getting the Bill Gates vaccine. I'm sorry. I don't trust that dude anymore.
Cutting over to our next bullet point, which is kind of will lead us in that direction, are the stats and this greater agenda that we're all talking about. I mean, so first, America's looking deeper.
So time out. Are you talking about bullet point number 2?
Thank you so much. Bullet point number 2. I'm trying to work on their time basis. So, I mean, what else do people have to do? So if you, what else are you going to do? So here are the stats as of last night. So they're going to change a little bit. So there's 2,310,572 cases.
Okay.
590 have recovered. 114 are hospitalized in the United States. So that's the playing field that you and I were talking about. Let me just lay out the stats and then we'll discuss it for a second.
Do it.
As of last night, 158,000 deaths in the world, right? And then coming over here.
At least.
We don't know who's asymptomatic, but let's go back and then come back to your great slide. So in America, 154,000 deaths reported worldwide, 37,000 deaths in the United States. As of yesterday, what's the flu? The flu's 291,000. The flu's horrible. That's what the flu is. 290. Yeah. I've had it twice during COVID. 291,000 to 646,000 deaths worldwide, with 61 to 80,000 deaths. And right now we're at 35,000. But then you brought home, I think, the most important thing. Tell us your observations on this graph. It's a great point.
Okay, here's what I've noticed, and here's some friends of mine who write for some different publications. We've been talking about this for a while. There was a very, very high number. That red line on that chart is the cases of the flu. And if you look at it, something might be COVID, might not. Maybe it was just the flu. The flu was just off the charts. We were having our worst year for the flu in like 5 years. Then you'll see when the COVID-19 starts, you see that red line just take a nosedive, just
Right
an
here,
absolute nosedive. So they're counting everything as COVID-19 and nothing as the flu anymore. But the other point is, I think the reason the flu was so big is because COVID-19 was already on the West Coast. COVID-19 has already been floating around. I think there's so many more people who've already had this and are better, and they haven't even been counted because they thought they had the flu.
As of November, they say November 7th for the first time. I went to Vancouver. It's a very Asian visiting area. And we got brutally ill, and then we got better. I got sick at the beginning of COVID. I went surfing in Newport Beach. I got out, and it smelled like sewer, which is like, whenever you surf in California, it smells like sewer. There's like 12 million people pooping up the street, right? So it's horrible.
Oh.
By the time you get to your car, I've been sick. So I was sick within 3 hours. 3 days later, I'm better. I've had 2 flus during this. Neither are COVID. They said there's 100 of these out there. And here you're saying, so here's the green line. It's like it dropped here, and then boom, everything got related and called COVID. Exactly.
Those are the past years of the flu. The green line, the pink line, the blue line. Only the red line is the stats for this year. And you'll see everywhere. There's a big
this is where the flu drops off here, and these are the regular flus.
Yes.
So the flu disappeared and COVID took off. Yeah. So let's ask this. So this is our greater agenda point. I think there's a couple things going on. I think this thing about 5G is real. You can go back to when they put radio waves. I think it definitely affects the immune system. A lot of very important people have said it. I think the biowarfare thing is definitely legitimate. Whether it got out because that guy we talked about this last week, was grabbing some bat soup at lunch, or whether it got out or not, it's there. But who's grabbing this agenda, man? I think the World Health Organization talks about population control. I think Bill Gates, you can go back to his website. He talks about vaccinating everyone with population control. And what do they want to do? They're saying maybe nanotechnology is going to be put into this, into the vaccine. And they're going to give it to immigrants as well. So my point is, let the immigrants have nanotechnology. So that way we know where they're at. And if they rape anyone, if they turn blue, or there's some, I'm kidding, or they commit a crime, I mean, let's use nanotechnology to it. That's my outside thought for conspiracy today.
You're talking about the Willy Wonka vaccine, where you're injected with it, and then if you commit a crime, you turn into a blueberry. And then
right. But what we need is the egg switch. If they're a bad egg, we just hit a switch and they go down there, and
wouldn't life be wonderful? That'd be wonderful. What's bullet point number 3?
Woo! Here we go. Heartbroken, but Barack Hussein Obama to the rescue. Can Biden grab the life preserver? So look, man. I mean, Trump was all over this. Take it away.
I'm still listen. I'm a comedian. I'm a writer. I'm a performer. I still can't go after Joe Biden with guns a-blazing. The guy is just, I expect him to collapse every time he's on television. Like it's getting to the point now where you have to like go, oh, that was a good sentence. That was a complete sentence. That was a complete thought. He just looks like he's fading fast. Like I can't imagine him on stage with Trump. He's just, he can't put it together anymore. Like, take a knee, Joe. Take a knee.
Yeah, as Joe said, people are going to be out there voting on November 3rd. I mean, he's all over the map. I mean, seriously, right? I mean, that's the concern. So I have friends who are like, oh, well, Trump is this. I mean, I've been getting a list of, I'm obviously a decrepit, moral, deplorable, bigot, sexist, racist. I mean, I've accepted it now. And although I practice none of that, I will wear the moniker of all of those in order to keep this president in office. But my friends are sending these horrible texts. I can't believe that you back this guy. He's a liar. He's a lech. He's a cheat. Well, so what I did is I saved all of my friends' texts and I sent them back to him about Biden, and he didn't know. He started arguing with me. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, let's first talk about this. Joe Biden said in his tweet last year You know what I was most proud of? For 8 years, there wasn't one single hint of scandal or lie. So let's just stop for a second. And we took the top 25. You can text me, send us an email on the website. We took his top 25 scandals. This guy redacted 1,063 derelictions during the Obama years, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and we could go through this list. We don't have to. Everybody knows how many horrible things were done during the Obama years. Here's another page, though, just if you want to freeze the frame and read these. And then 5 days ago, Michael, I mean, is anybody paying attention to Tara Reid with Joe Biden? So how are we even having this conversation of him being a viable candidate?
It is the ultimate, not the ultimate, it's the penultimate in hypocrisy. The way they went after Kavanaugh, on hearsay and secondhand knowledge, and the silence about this young girl is just deafening. It's just deafening. You got Alyssa Milano, who's the poster girl for the Me Too movement. She's still on the Joe Biden bandwagon. You got the New York Times. They're still on the Joe Biden bandwagon. And they were ready to stop the earth from spinning when women were coming up with stuff on Kavanaugh. The hypocrisy is too much. It's too much.
Too much. I have to read it. I know. Look, I think we go after people too much about their private behavior. But if I heard grabbing the puss so much last year, I mean, it's in the paper 5 days ago, and it's not even being covered. Biden pushed her against the wall in the basement of Capitol Hill office building, groped her and penetrated her with his fingers. When she was shocked, he said, "Come on, man. I heard you liked me." I mean, if that was Trump, that came out 5 days ago, Trump, there would be nothing else on the news. People would have forgot about the flu.
and it's weird, but that sounds like Joe Biden too. He loves that phrase. Come on, man.
Come on,
He's
man.
Like,
yeah.
China's our enemy. China's a threat. Come on, man. He said that too.
Green New Deal, 1.5 trillion. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no, it's true. That is the big issue there. So I hope America wakes up. And I'll end with this. I had a buddy call me. He goes, "Well, he's going to get a great vice president, and that's how the system works." I'm like, come on. I mean, I said, "I'm really sorry for you." I said, "Who's your great candidate?" I said, "Really?" I mean, I meant this generally. I said, "I'm really saddened. Who are you going to put out there that gives you, that's any kind of viable candidate?" So we'll see.
It's funny, but like everyone now who's complaining, like the government didn't supply enough ventilators, but they did. The government didn't supply enough beds, but they did. The government didn't. Oh, Trump and the government are horrible. Then they want to elect somebody who's going to make the government bigger and more inefficient. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
Absolutely.
Point number 4.
All right, this is one near and dear to both of our heart. Is the great advent of this is, I call this the Federalist Dilemma. Selfish Michigan protests is what the prior governor said. Maryland calling out an Orwellian 1984. Texas going back to work, and now California kind of in this middle ground all of next week. So this is a really interesting time for us, man. I guess let's jump into Michigan.
Michigan is what happens when ego gets in the way. This woman is off the rails. You're not allowed to go jet skiing, but you can go out on your canoe. You're not allowed to buy paint for your house, but you can buy crushed red peppers at the grocery store. This whole, she's just shutting down individual little parts, taking away little liberties here and there at one at a time. It's like she's acting like a total fascist, brutal dictator. Who does she think she is? She's supposed to represent the people. I always don't like it when the government gets into this whole, we're going to protect you from yourselves. We're going to protect you from yourselves. Hey, if you want to go out and do idiotic things, you're allowed. This is America. And you're still allowed to buy seeds and plant a garden. You're still allowed to paint your house. And you're still allowed to go out on your jet ski. I celebrate the people who are protesting her.
It's interesting when we look at how Trump won and we look at some of these states. If you know people from Michigan people will tell you how it is. They're like New Yorkers on steroids. Sometimes I grew up in Colorado and North Carolina, which were pretty country living town. They're so blue because of what's happening in their cosmopolitan hubs. And that's exactly what the whole Trump phenomena was about. The electoral college system worked. This guy worked the base, and a lot of Americans like, hey, I don't align with cosmopolitan values, and they got it. They got to the polls. Michigan surprises me, but what also surprises me is they're immediately protesting. You know, if there was to actually be a real shutdown and some kind of revolution, I think Michigan might rally, man. I mean, they felt really repressed, really angry. It was kind of the beginning of the spark.
Yeah, and there's more states following suits. There's more people protesting. There's protests in LA. They're springing up across the nation. You have to let people go back to work. How do you explain that, like, postal workers, they can show up and they can work safely. Grocery store workers, they can show up and they can work safely. But if you work over here, nah, you're not allowed to work. It doesn't, we'll do it for a little bit, but we're not. Once people start losing their businesses, all bets are off. All bets are off.
The closest, you know, you and I talked, we were tracking the movement towards socialism in the prior administration, the way we've got this great deconstructive conservative businessman who's actually done a good job because he's disrupted the system. But I mean, how close are we to socialism? I mean, look at this notice. Imagine this notice 3 months ago. By the order of the state of Michigan, items in this area are non-essential and not available for purchase. So it's rationing, man. That's why we have like governmental rationing from this. Now, I don't care if Whitmer is kind of Sarah Palin good looking. You know, it's like you have a certain standard for political women. You're like, well, you know, if you're going to have to watch somebody every day, this one's fairly attractive. But she, you know, she's flipping. She's already pulling back. Everybody's career is at stake. Moving on to, we're going to go a little longer on this. Moving on to Maryland, we're cruising for the Constitution is back.
People are getting educated. Listen, it's when this kind of oppression is in your face and just your common everyday run-of-the-mill Joe Schmo is like, wait, this doesn't seem right. That's when you go, that's because it's not. You're allowed to say whatever you want. You're allowed to protest. You can criticize the government. You can have a gun. We have rights. The government didn't give those to us. We were born with them. The government's there to protect those rights. And when they start infringing on them, it's good to see people getting upset. Yeah.
And so Texas, of course, is leading the charge, right? They're going to go back to work as aggressively as possible. So you showed the curve. So now they're saying they're leaving it up to the governors for, you know, in order to observe the curve. So what do you think about this? Is this thing gonna come back, or states gonna go back and forth? What's your opinion? You're in New York.
I have to think that yes, there will be a bit of a bounce back. There will be a bit. Okay, so you have the initial cases. Now they're going down. It'll pop back up. It'll pop back up. But even with Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and their whole thing about we have to flatten the curve, all you're doing is extending it. That's just so you don't overwhelm hospitals. But now that hospitals are ready, I say just let her rip. Open it up.
I'm with you, buddy. I think this is, are we going to find out when this all rolls back in the second term? I mean, I'm gonna go a little down the rabbit hole here. This guy has deconstructed a war on our government, and now new players are coming. Your impeachment bit on Fox was so funny, dude. I mean, I know you, and I don't really laugh at other comedians. I'm less of a comedian than I was. It was funny. But you really made fun of the situation. We have electoral college, we have Mueller, we have impeachment, and now we have the virus. What's going to happen next election? Who's going to go down? I mean, who are the real players here? If another virus comes out, will America shut down? The Democratic Party's been desperate, man. They have nothing. And I think everybody in America knows that we have progressive liberals who are like, whatever it takes, destroy Trump. I think America is woke up to this, and they were like, oh no, well, you don't care about people who are dying. You know what? It's the flu, man. People die every year.
And they don't care about people dying. They don't care about people losing all their belongings. They don't care about people losing their businesses. It's Nancy Pelosi. The proof is in the pudding. That they have no positive agenda. All they can do is attack Trump. And when the rubber hits the road, When the American people need their tax dollars back, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats say no. That is shocking, man. That is shocking. She doesn't care if you lose everything. She's going to sit in her mansion and eat expensive chocolate ice cream and criticize the president.
You know, you suck. You said, all right, rolling through. Yeah, I look, man, my whole deal is it's so stressful to have people attacking your personal freedoms. It's going to create the flu. I mean, if you want to bolster your immune system, just accept that Trump's a great president. watch your antibodies flush white and get on. We're doing okay.
Yeah. And I saw a stat earlier today. I hope it's not true. But the stat was during the Great Depression, 40,000 suicides. 40,000 suicides. So right now, that's a bigger number than people who've died from COVID. What do you want? I'm
a faster rather than slower guy, which is true in many ways. Okay, moving on.
That's what she
said.
Right,
that's what she said. I was waiting for the setup. There you go. All right, here we are. It's promo time, Michael. We're whipping through a show pretty good today. So first of all, the Loftus party has been putting out some great videos. You were amazing on Friday night. I think you've been doing some other Fox stuff. Tell us what's going on over there.
Well, they finally, I think, took the chance. John Rich, the Nashville singer, he did a little concert from his living room, and it was a big hit for Fox Nation. So they reached out to me, and they're like, "What do you think about doing a comedy show?" Long story short, I said yes. I think people are always ready to laugh. People are always ready. If you cannot laugh, you're done. You're done, because there's an optimism with laughing, and I'm very happy about this. The show premiered Friday night. Then late that night, Fox Nation put it on their Facebook page, and it already has almost 500,000 views.
Woo!
So, yeah, there's shows on the WB. There's shows on the CW that aren't pulling in those kind of numbers.
Nice. So how long did it take you to do the impeachment movie? Now, I know your technique. So did you do that all on your phone?
Yes.
Or did you send it in for professional editing?
All on my phone. That's a 100% phone. And then we emailed him to an editor, and then he put it all together, and knock on wood, it came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it.
It was pretty racy about the things about marriage and your wife at the beginning. It was kind of like Friday night, Saturday Night Live humor, but at like 7:00. You're like, whoa, he's talking about, making love and propagating the race.
I pulled it back, and I pulled it back for Fox.
You did?
Yeah, I did some editing.
We put it up on the big screen, man. It looks good. You need to be on the air. So for everybody out there, go see Michael's show on Fox Nation, like $5.99. I just paid the bill, so I know.
There you go.
So it was a great show. Are you doing any performances? Anything coming up on the news? I think you got something tomorrow.
I got nothing tomorrow, but we'll see what happens this week. I did a bunch of promos for the show, but nothing compared to a book tour. Nothing compared what you're going to be looking at to promote 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah. So good news on that. Bottom line is, look, we've got a great agent. We're going back and forth with a major hub, which I can't disclose yet. And we're working on the 45-minute, speaking tour, and the 30-minute, and a little bit of comedy sitting in your shadow, Michael. So we're going to do great. So I'll be announcing that soon. I mean, look, they want to put it out next year. We were going to put it out for the election. So we have to make a decision whether we're going to self-publish. We have quotes from Roger Stone, David Zucker, yourself, Evan Sayet, Michael Knowles. I mean, people are reading the book and they're loving it. So, Baruch Hashem, as my Jewish friends say.
Let's get it on the shelves. Until then, we'll have to be satisfied with a wild card.
You give it up. Thank you so much, producer, anonymous producer. It's funny, in California, you have to keep your staff anonymous. They want to work the rest of their lives. Yeah. So, okay, our wild card. Here we go, Michael. Things to do before the lockdown ends. Things to do before the lockdown ends. So, number one, I'll start. Number one. Okay. Number one, go to the beaches in Florida, baby. They open up the beaches. And I think you were saying something about how you might attend them.
Well, this is the good news. This is the good news. They found out, this is a study that just came out. Sunlight really helps kill COVID-19. So sunlight kills it. You don't want it on your body. To me, I'm like, we should all go running to the nude beaches. Just go out there, take a big sun bath, get COVID free, get all juiced up, get some vitamin D, come on back home, and it's bang, bow, bow. You're gonna look good, you're gonna feel good, you're gonna live.
It's like a basting oven, though. You want to make sure you get all the cracks and crevices. You might bring some kind of yoga device. Got to get the COVID in. Anyway, all right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, DeSantis, I don't know if you saw it. He opened, DeSantis, Florida beaches look like a Wuhan recreational park the day they lifted there. I don't know if you saw it. Like the day that Wuhan opened, there were like 20,000 people like walking through the parks. I'm like, little early. But DeSantis told everybody to keep 6 feet from each other on the beach. So if you've seen it, it looks like the Indianapolis 500 band. There's just like tons of people walking back and forth, just, desperate for sun.
I think it's great. I really do. If you want, if you want to go, go. Just try to stay distant from everyone else. And yeah. It's how it's going to be. It's not like, and I love these people who get so upset, like they're opening up the beaches in Florida. You're like, bitch, they've had the subways open in New York this whole time.
I think if you really want to express your patriotism, you should just really, with your isolated other, you should just snog passionately, just I love America, just really show, because man, I'm telling you, I miss hugging. I'm a hugging guy. I'm tired of touching elbows.
See, I'm not a huggy guy. I'm a big fist bump. Yeah. Hey, look at you over there. I see you. That's my. You
got to keep the heart behind a little bit of a shell if you're in comedy too. All right. So moving on, number two, sex it up. Now you have to break this is the time to create those COVID babies. But if you're a couple, if you're separated, there was some guide. This was actually on a journal. It said Zoom sex calls if you're separated during the virus, but if you record, don't hit share. So apparently, be careful. You don't want to create a lot of accidental Zoom sex tapes. That's a risk, because a lot of people don't know how to use Zoom. They're like, what the hell is this?
Wasn't that a Seth Rogen movie where he and his wife made a sex tape and they accidentally shared it and they had to try to find it? Yeah. I mean, to me, that's like stating, anyone who, maybe the guy just had to write an article, but let's see, I'm in one state, my wife's in another state. What should we do? Oh, I have an idea. Phone sex. Really? What a novel. That never would have occurred to me.
It's so true. No, here, I've got a caveat. If you're a pervert, it is now the socially, morally acceptable time to get a sex bot. Just make sure to wash it carefully and put it away. I mean, because if your friend got a sex bot, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. It's COVID.
Here's something that will change your worldview forever. In the movie Toy Story, all the toys were real. And they knew everything that was going on. So in the Toy Story universe, all the sex dolls were alive.
Right. So they're talking. They're taking.
They're like, as soon as you go to work, they're jumping in the shower and crying.
That's like a Westworld nightmare, right? That's funny. Hey, that's like the end game of AI. You get a bad reputation for your sexual performance in the sex bot community. Okay, moving on. Number 3, watch Bullet Points. We have in the Loftus Party. We have 56 episodes of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge out there on the old Internet of Things. You can get caught up on some past episodes. We shake it up. We mix it up. We call it like we see it. There you go. Surf the YouTubes.
Boom. And the Loftus Party's got a lot of, you're doing 2 videos a week. So subscribe.
I am. Yeah, people need to subscribe to that channel because we're putting out new videos on Monday and Friday. Then on Facebook, I've been doing a Facebook Live thing every week. That's starting to blow up. So it's fun, man. I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. I like this one. This is for my wife because she dresses up to go to Vaughn's. Dress up in your very best clothes, number 4, and use your food stamps. Just create a really uncomfortable dynamic. I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, where can you go? What essential business can you go to? I don't know. That was my idea.
Yeah. If you're getting the unemployment, if you're getting the Trump bucks or whatever, and I don't know if they give it on a card or what, but if you have some kind of like unemployment debit card, yes, absolutely. Get dressed up, wear your best jewelry, just look like you're worth millions of dollars, and then just slap it down and go, the government's paying.
That's right. If there's ever a time, like sex bots, there's ever a time to use government assistance proudly, it's now. Because everybody gets some, right?
Yes, and listen, with the unemployment insurance, you've been paying into that anyway. There should never be.
Right.
Don't ever, especially now, the government took away your right to earn a living. The government took away your right to earn a living. The very least they can do is give you back $1,200 of your money. That is your money, America. Don't feel bad about spending that at all. Don't hesitate for a moment to apply for unemployment.
I don't know if this is kind of a weird and a stalking way, but if you go to Venmo, there's a lot of random people you don't know. So I've been randomly sending people $20. They're like, who are you? I'm just like, I don't know. It's because like, I don't want the government to distribute all the money, right? And then some girl texted me, I said, oh my God, I didn't have fun money to eat in New York, So go to Venmo and do some left hand. Oh, I just blew it now, biblically. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing unless you're on the internet saying how giving you are. But there's ways to give. Is like, think about other people. Like, what can you do to kind of spread some light right now? That's a positive one. And then shifting to number five is host a virtual MAGA rally because the Democrats have shut that sucker down. Just get, thousands of your friends, which is almost impossible to find in Los Angeles, and have a MAGA rally.
Yeah, I wonder what platform could handle that. How many people can you get on a Zoom meeting? Can you get a couple hundred?
Yeah, we were doing some spiritual stuff, and we maxed out at 100. Then they wanted, prepay like $900 to up the audience. So you got to figure it out. But I'm sure it's going to be happening on the internet. I mean, the great thing set COVID aside, the great thing I do like about this president is it's direct communication about believing in yourself and believing in America and believing that it's okay to be great, right? And even though we're going through this challenge, we're going to come out the other side. We had a lot of greatness to burn off.
Yep. Judd, I can't think of a better wrap up for this show. It was an awesome episode. Yeah. Believe in yourself. Believe in America. You can do it. Pick yourself up and go, baby.
All right, and we'll see you next week on Bullet Points. Bullet Points USA on YouTube. Bullet Points with Michael Loftus and Judd Dunning on Facebook. Stay safe, stay distant. We'll see you next week.